with all the volatility with Bitcoin at the moment and Argo blockchain. I tell you what, guys, you definitely need some diamond hands right now. Yeah. Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. Something that happens by chance, I think not. What's the crack, everyone? Welcome back to Buy Wholesale. I hope, of course, you are all well. In yesterday's video, I promised that today we would look into all the Q&A sort of questions that followed the GM, and I did a GM video yesterday, which you can go in here. I'll share the link. You can go in and see what the 5 resolutions, the Goo voting went through to get us onto the NASDAQ. We talked about resolution 2, why that didn't go through, and we had a quick look at the charts. But within that, guys, with more of an update, this video is actually coming to you on Tuesday night. The time right now is at about 6:45, guys. And what we have seen is a horrible close to the end of the day. As you can see here in the charts, the stock absolutely went to Gabe Town. So as you can see here, guys, it tanked brutal towards the end. Really big tank off. 4 o'clock, it just dipped massively, guys. And we ended up finishing 6.29% down. You can see here that the American one also kind of tanked hard. And it's recovered quite well, but we're still 4% down. Now, I would say that that is down to the Bitcoin crash that we've seen. Bitcoin at one stage pulled back 20% today, huge. But we have this update, guys, on the after hours. You can see here, so the stock closed, as we've seen, earning around a 136.96, and then it shot LSE log forms. You can see that big buys have come in sort of on that extra sort of after hours, if you want to call it. Very interesting. Be interested to see what way it opens tomorrow. It could be absolutely nothing. Things like this can happen. Today's video anyway, I'm just going to look at post-GM questions that Peter discussed about. So a bit of a chop up of his video. I'll throw in some thoughts. And if you like these types of things, let me know. Trying something a wee bit different to try and see if it's, more engaging. So any comments, spread the love, guys. That's all I live for. It's the only thing that helps me grow the channel and the show support. I appreciate everyone that does send love. I love you all. Thank you for that. We're going to look at the first question. This all happened before the GEM, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because my tweet was picked out as the first tweet that he talked about. So let's have a look at that.
First question is from Damien. Damien J. McVie asks, what will happen to the OTC stock when joining NASDAQ? I assume this will be an uplisting and the new ticker with ARBK. So the new ticker, yes, will be ARBK. In terms of the process and the OTC, what's going to happen to the OTC stock, etc. We're kind of at a particular part of the process where I can't really give a ton of details about how the uplisting is going to work, etc., etc. But what we are committed to is when it's appropriate to have a full FAQ up on our website. Perhaps we'll do a video as well explaining kind of how the process works as we get closer to the time. Not appropriate to do that yet. And in terms of, and obviously, Damien, this was not the only question from you. There was lots of questions from other shareholders about how ARBKF and ARBK work together, and et cetera. So we'll make sure that information is out there when it's appropriate. And just in general about NASDAQ, I can't really talk a ton about the process right now, other than what we've announced publicly and what you can read through the RNSs that we've put out.
The first kind of type of questions that have come in was around OTC listings and ARBKF and what's going to happen to those shares, the OTC traded shares, once a US listing comes online. As I said in the last RNS or the last operational update video, I can't go into a ton of detail.
And that brings you to the next question then, about the sort of RNS. I said I'd do a video on it and maybe try and give a bit of an insight. I'll do a bit of due diligence, bit of digging, try and get my head around it. But Peter Wall just explains here in the next bit the reasons why that mightn't be the case.
The second type of questions that have come in are around tactics, around the IPO. What's the ADR ratio going to be? What's the timing going to be? Who are we going to market the deal to? Those type of things. Again, given we're in a very highly regulated situation right now, we're just not allowed to make comments about those type of things.
You can see the struggle here. It's very, very hard to know. Clearly, I'm not the only one asking these questions or curious about this. I'm getting a lot of people messaging me on the different forums. Peter's clearly getting the questions there. And if you just look on any of the tweets or anything, a lot of people are asking these similar questions. So it's not public knowledge. I can most certainly do a video potentially on what would happen in this scenario, but it'd be a generic video. It wouldn't be related to Argo, and it most certainly would not be a prediction. If that's something you're interested, let me know. I could do that. If people just want to be more clear on what is involved in that process, I can do that. But in terms of what's actually going to happen and what it would mean, it would be very much speculation, and I don't like dealing in rumor and innuendo. I would prefer to deal with facts. On to question 3 then.
Third type of question that we got a lot was about Pluto. And an update on the Pluto investment. As I think a lot of shareholders know, we've been interested in Pluto since they first came to us and told us about the project. We continue to engage with them on a weekly basis. We're very much abreast of all of the updates and the plans that they're pursuing. But it's not for us to share with the market.
Not really answering any questions here. I appreciate that his hands definitely are tied, and he is completely right there about Pluto. It's not his place to give an update. Perhaps the question would have been better to get an understanding of the partnership. A wee bit more meat on them bones would have been good, but he is right. It is not up to Argo to be promoting or talking about Pluto's incentives, because it's not what they're about. They're only in a partnership. But if it's something that you like to do, I have touched on Pluto in some of my first videos. We haven't heard a lot about Pluto, so that's a good question. I could do a video on Pluto. If people are interested in that, let me know. And believe it or not, guys, that's pretty much the only questions that came from it. Quite underwhelmed. I feel that there was probably loads of questions, but a lot of them he couldn't answer, so he's just summarized them in categories. Fair enough. But there's just this little snippet at the end.
Again, because of the offering process, you're not going to hear from me a ton between now and when that happens. So
that little snippet at the end, the way he kind of words it, you're not going to hear a lot from me between now and then. Anyone that follows Argo knows that Peter's not shy of the camera. He is very good at updating us with information. So to me, that's maybe an indication that perhaps it won't be too long to wait. Again, rumor, innuendo, speculation, my own thoughts, but was anyone else sort of feeling that way, that the way he worded that, it would make you think that perhaps this IPO isn't too far off? So that's the video, guys. A lot of moving parts to Argo at the minute. Very, very exciting. A big buys is coming in at the end again. It'll be interesting to see what way it goes tomorrow. Loving Argo blockchain. I'm loving everything that they're doing. If you have found this video informative, please like, subscribe, all that. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you again, guys. Peace.
Yeah. Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence. Yeah. Coincidence.
Something that happens by chance, I think not.